This is going to be a very short but very potent mastery lesson on messaging and how to get somebody to a point in their buying process with you where they literally cannot help but buy. Okay? And it's actually extremely powerful, and it's one of the secret weapons that I've used in my career now over 7 years and millions of dollars of personal take-home profit with my service-based businesses, my coaching, my consulting businesses, selling packages as low as 2 grand, as high as 50 grand. Okay, and I want to share with you how I get people willing to pay these rates over and over and over again, even when it feels like I'm not even freaking trying. Like, I'll be completely honest with you. Like, recently, I've been signing, anywhere from like 1 to 3 clients a week, and these are people on the low end that are paying me 10 grand. Okay, and on the higher end, I've got packages upwards of 25 grand. Okay, and they're not hard to sign, and it's because I've nailed my messaging. Okay, and this is what I want to talk about in this video: is how messaging is the reason why you are struggling. Messaging is the reason why you can't sign the clients that you know you could sign. Okay, so I want to tell you how to master your message. The first thing that you want to start with, you can imagine your message as a funnel. And I've drawn this visual out for my channel over and over and over again for you guys. You can go and check out some of my other videos on this, but I'm just going to use my words and my hands to describe it. At the top of your funnel, you need to have a consensus that people are experiencing, okay, that is negative, that they don't know what to do about, okay? And there's this principle in human psychology that people are begging to be led by somebody who can speak to that consensus, okay? And not to get like, political or wacky with you, but, people who influence nations, if you look at like, even like dictators, even people as like Hitler, right? He spoke to this thing in the German people of, Germany falling and like the Jews are the problem and all this stuff. Like, by the way, I don't agree with any of that ideology. I'm just giving you an example, okay? Or even common political leaders, they'll do this. There's a common consensus, something that the American people are feeling, or that the people of that country are feeling. It calls it out, okay? And so you got to tap into what the consensus is in your marketplace and be able to use the words that the people that you're trying to persuade would use themselves, okay? And then if you can do that, then you have to tie into your message what the new, better way is, okay? So my messaging, for example, in this business, in my coaching coaches business, is like selling coaching has become very quickly the hardest thing to sell because of the stigma around it, okay? And because most people literally don't like coaches. Like, they've been burned by coaches. It's a very low barrier of entry business model, so it's like people just generally don't like it, okay? And there's generally a pretty bad consumer consensus around information products and coaching. And even, large organizations, government organizations like the FTC are coming in and like regulating things. And they should be, by the way. I feel very strongly that that's a net massive positive, because at the end of the day, the customer it needs to be considered. So anyway, this is a big message, right? And so you need to speak to it, and you need to introduce a new way. Okay, you need to introduce a new, better way than what people have currently tried or what's not working anymore. Okay, and if you can introduce the new way and then justify it as if you're justifying it to like a jury and you're a lawyer in court and you're saying, look, this is why this person is innocent or guilty. Like, there's a list of evidence and truths and things that people just can't disagree with. Like in our other company, in my B2C company that has nothing to do with this YouTube channel and nothing to do with my, coaching coaches business, which has become just like this really fun passion thing for me at this point. We help Christian men get into like online sales and work from home and stuff. And the consensus that we tap into is kind of this undercurrent feeling that our economy is wacky weird right now. And not only that, but jobs aren't even that secure. And even if you have a high paying job, it's like things are changing so much. So what we need to do in my new way is master skills that create income security in any season. And sales is one of those skills. The ability to speak to people and help them see that they do need to make a decision and to get them to buy something, and doing so ethically without crossing any lines that hurt the consumer. Like, if you can learn how to do that, you're literally good and set for life. So I take people from mass consensus, economy concerns, job concerns, to new way, mastering sales. On this channel, it's online coaching is the worst thing to sell right now, essentially. Like, it's gotten ridiculously hard because of all this bullshit that's come through, okay? Like, pardon my French, but that's just the case. New way is if your message isn't absolutely dialed way the frick in, then you're going to lose most people. They're not going to buy your stuff because you're not saying things in a way that resonates with them and gets them to actually want to buy. And people, if they feel like they can see through your message, then it's almost like watching a movie, and it's a good movie with a good story, but then you notice some CGI, you notice some computer animated graphics in that movie, and you're like, it pulls you right out of the story. It's the same thing with a bad message. If your message isn't dialed in, people don't want to buy, and they feel smart for not buying. So it's a very risky game. It's one extreme or the other. They really, really want to buy, or they really, really, really don't want to buy. Okay? And so if you know your message, you get people who really, really want to buy. Okay? So you got to have a consensus and then a new, better way. And then the next step is you need to phrase and format your offer in such a way that it's believable that they'll achieve the benefits of installing the mechanism into their life or their business, and it's believable that the mechanism will be installed. So again, in our other company, the B2C company, we don't call our program a coaching program. We call it an apprenticeship. See, you can start to see how that just has a different feel to it, doesn't it? And then we talk about the week-by-week progress that somebody's going to make inside. We talk about other students and the average results. We're honest that some people don't get any results. We're totally transparent in that way. We're completely honest that some people are going to join and get literally no results. So it's totally on them. They own 100% of the risk. And when we say things like this, these are what's called in copywriting and in sales, damaging admissions. They're true, but then when we say the good things, like students who go on to do well, people are more likely to believe that stuff because we've led with a damaging admission. So the format of the offer needs to be believable in the way that it delivers the mechanism into somebody's life or their business, or the new way into their life or their business, so that it's like, oh my gosh, I have to buy this, because you've taken them from pain and a consensus using words that they would use to introducing a new way that is like better than what they've heard of before, makes a ton of sense, and it's like, how have I not heard of this before, thought about this before, this makes so much sense, and maybe you're feeling the same way in this video, who knows? And then the format of the offer is believable. So with my coaching coaches business, the format of my offer is one-on-one, unlimited one-on-one calls, unlimited Slack support for a year. And it's like, I'm going to help you dial all this stuff in. I just took a client from $5,000 a month to $40,000 a month. He's aiming at $100,000 a month, and he's been with me like 2 months. Okay, like that stuff happens all the time because I'm helping people dial in the little linguistics, the little things, the little way that even they think about what they do, so that when they're communicating it, it has a higher resonant potency, and people are more likely to take action. So I want you to think about the 3 things. To summarize this video, there's just 3 things you got to think about. What's the mass consensus? What's the new way? And by the way, you don't actually have to invent a new way. Sometimes you just have to communicate something that people have forgotten. And this is actually a really powerful understanding. Like what Trump does, for example, is people have like forgotten certain American values, right? And I try not to take too many political stances, but you can't deny that he's extremely persuasive. That's how he got into office, right? Mass consensus. There's things that the American people have forgotten. We've forgotten the value of, like border walls and proper immigration policy, right? So it's like consensus, new way. Doesn't have to be new. It could just be an old thing that people have kind of forgotten and left behind, bringing it back to the surface, okay? Then format of the offer. His format is vote for me, right? My format with this channel is one-on-one, unlimited. Let me help you. I'm going to help you design a business. And a majority of my clients actually have gone on to see 7-figure levels. Now, the statistics are such that less than 3% of businesses, I think it's like less than 2%, ever reach $1 million a year. So your odds of achieving that statistically are extremely low, right? I'm just giving you things that have worked for other clients and telling that to you, and then you can do what you want with that, okay? But that's the format of my offer, right? It's one-on-one. And so the format of our other company is apprenticeship, and we work with you, and it gives this like hands-on feel of like we're there in your corner to make this thing work with you. And we talk about how powerful the community is and how there's people inside. It's like we justify it by talking about the principle of all ships rise with the tide. We have people in here who are succeeding, and you can learn right from them, and we literally pair you up. We apprentice you underneath somebody else who's doing well, so it's an actual apprenticeship. We talk about how there's nobody on the group meetings that isn't actually succeeding in the model, on and on and on and on. So consensus, job security, economic concerns. New way, mastering sales, okay? Offer, apprenticeship, group, all these ways of justifying it. And then if somebody digests all of that message, they can't help but want to buy. Okay, so I hope that you've appreciated this video and that it's been helpful for you. I am at a point right now, it's May 23rd, and between now and the end of the month, I've got space for one more one-on-one client. If that interests you at all, links in the description to learn more. If you let the page load a bit after a sec, it'll load in some testimonials. This way you can see clients that have gotten to 200 grand a month, 500 grand a month, etc. And a lot of it's just dialing this stuff in, honestly, and then figuring out a marketing channel that makes sense. I've done low ticket funnels, VSL funnels, YouTube organic. YouTube organic is like one of my favorites. Instagram organic. It doesn't necessarily matter. Every channel works. I prefer VSL funnels, YouTube, and Instagram stuff. That's kind of like my jam. But everything works if you nail your message. Okay, so thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.